Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire. I am your host, Ryan Wickline, and today we're joined by a very special guest. She's a speaker and NBA life success coach, Dr. Carolyn Hatton. How you doing today, Carolyn?
I'm doing well. I'm here with you, so I'm doing. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm kind of excited to dive in here because, like we were saying in the pre-discussion here, you talk about two of my favorite topics: habits and mindset.
Biggies, biggies.
Yes. So the number one question the audience is probably wondering, who is Dr. Carolyn Hatton?
Which one? I've had many lives. I've had many lives. I've been a dentist. I've been a political strategist a long time ago. Would not want to do that now, but back then it was fun. I got two governors elected and one president. And then they asked me if and one of them said, please come with me to DC and you'll have a room in the White House because you're such a good strategist. And I said, I'm a dentist. This was kind of fun. It was here, I was doing it where I practice. But I said, if I do that, I'm helping you. And then it's either 4 years or 8 years. And I come back, I won't have anything of my business. So I'm going to have to say no, because I'm going to be tearing down what I spent years going to school, and I'd be tearing that down. So I said, I enjoyed what I did. I'm glad I helped you. And I'd love to be in the White House with an office, but I'm going to, I'm going to mess up my life,
Yeah. Nice.
I'm a very adventurous person. I will always say yes, even though it's a little scary, like today. I'll always say yes. And usually it always turns out great. Just have a little guts. And it's never as scary as you think. And if it gets really, really scary, you can always say, no, thank you. But I have had I can't think of anything I've ever said no to that, or said no to after I started. And the interesting thing about mindset, the two things that leave me awake at night, which is not very often, but I think about your past, what you could have done, what you should have done. There's two things that I didn't do that haunt me. I mean, absolutely, and they're stupid things, but they haunt me. It's like why did you not do that? You've done so many dumb, stupid, weird, scary things. Two things. So, and I think about that. So even when I think about, like, when I started taking speaking classes or coaching, she said, this is the number one fear of most people in the world. And I thought, you don't want this one to be another one of those things. You got two, you don't want three. And so I just dived in.
What are those two things?
Oh,
you don't mind me asking?
Oh my God. I thought you were gonna, I don't want to think about it. Okay. One in trip, I lived in Colorado in Aspen for 30 years. I was the first and only female doctor. And we had some friends come from Australia. So we took them on a little tour down the Grand Canyon, a float trip down the Grand Canyon. Along the way, there are some little side adventures, like all trips, there's little side adventures. And there was one where we had to climb up this sandstone cliff, and there was a level thing, and you climbed up, and then here's the Colorado River is like, and we pulled off a little side thing, climbed up, and then there was a pool. Here's the river, in a little pool, and everybody jumped in. I went, okay, well, I don't know about this. And so some of the people with me, they said, come on, you're so adventurous. Come on. I said, I can't swim. And I thought about it, and I went, you're going to be really sorry. And they said, look, we'll be here. So when you go down, make sure you keep your knees a little bent, because you're going to hit the bottom. And you don't want to be braced. So you little knees a little bit, and as soon as your feet touch them, you push really hard, and you're going to pop up, and we're going to grab you. We will grab you. That's the way it worked. It was great. It was fun. I did it and I was feeling really good. Everybody was, celebrating how you did it. About 10 or 15 minutes later, we were going down the Colorado River, and the guide brought us to the other side of the bank. And he says, this is really interesting. He says, we're going to climb up the bank. It's going to get a little rocky. There's going to be a little mesquites and stuff, but we're going to get to a place, and I'm going to show you a surprise. So we all climbed up, and the whole time it's weird. It's like solid, but you could hear this rushing noise, and you couldn't figure out where the hell it was coming from. When we get to kind of a place, and there's the Colorado River down here, there's a hole. And that's where the rushing was. The river was coming from the top of the mountain in the rock. You couldn't see it on the outside. It was going through this channel in the rock. And this is an entry point. And you could get in, and you had about, he said, maybe 100 feet where you were totally in the dark, encased in the rock, being pushed through the water. Yeah. I chickened out. And I hate that I did that because my son did it. He was 9 years old. And I asked her about it. He says, well, Mama, it's a little bit longer in your mind than it is. And I thought, everyone's done it. What was your problem? What was your problem? The other one is that I told my coach this. She said, give me three stories of things you did that were scary. She said, oh, Carolyn's gonna. I said, well, when I was in the Great Barrier Reef, you're in Australia, and the Great Barrier Reef is 30 miles out in the ocean. It's not right there. You can't see it. So you take a little jet helicopter from the resort, and you land on a platform where these three hunky Australian guys are kind of living in a hut for a couple of days until they switch over. So we land on this thing, and we get on a boat, and we get scuba gear, and I can't swim. And we were, and all I did was keep my hands by myself and just paddle with my slippers. And by the time we got started to go down, the wind had picked up. And so everything is getting super choppy, and things were, the ocean, is not very deep there because it was getting all stirred up with like mud and stuff. And I thought I didn't like that either because I want to, if I'm in an ocean, they're bad. There are really icky things down there, just icky things. I don't want to touch. So I talked myself into it. So I'm on the back of on the side of the boat, and you have to take your little goggle thingies out, and you have to spit on it and rub it inside your things because it keeps it from fogging. So I'm doing that, and I'm stalling big time. Finally, these Australian guys are kind of they're kind of macho. That's putting it mildly. That's putting it mildly. And all of a sudden, one of them went bam like that and knocked me in the water. He says, "What are you stalling for? Get bam!" And I'm in the water, and I'm like, and so I've told so I'm going along, and we're in the water, and we're going by a ledge, and things are just floating really quickly by it because a storm is coming in. And he said, we'll have to be careful of sharks. And you don't want to scrape yourself along the rocks because you'll have blood. And then the sharks, I went, oh, you kidding me? You're kidding me? You got to keep, and I can't even swim. And I'm like trying to keep away, and the current's pulling you around. And I finally just had it. And I went, I'm not a quitter. And I finally went, I'm going up. And he said, and he looked at me, he goes, and I went, and I felt, I was so mad at myself, but I was just, too many bad things were happening all at once. Too many things that could happen wrong. So he goes, okay, the bubble, watch the bubble, go up with the bubbles. So I get up. I'm the only person on the friggin' boat. I was the only girl too. That makes me mad too that I did that. So all the guys are down there floating around with the sharks, and I'm on the boat by myself for about 30 minutes. And they finally go, "Oh, it was so great. Oh, you, oh my God, I can't." I said, "Shut up. I don't want to hear about it. Shut up." And so that's the two things I don't have nightmares, but I have super regrets because I could have done it. I should have done it. The two times I chickened out, I regret so much. And so you cannot tell me anything now and I'll check it out because the chickening out feels a lot shittier, excuse my language, than the scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I think the pain of regret probably hurts the worst
Oh,
than just disciplining yourself and going through the fear.
it's horrible. It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. I'm so disappointed at myself. I'm so disappointed in myself. Two things.
Yeah. You went through a big reinvention where you reinvented your life. Can you tell us what your life was like before that?
Which invention, which time? I've been myself about maybe,
Where you lost all the weight and you
oh,
were unhealthy?
yeah. I was in when I left Aspen, which is super athletic. The interesting thing about Aspen aside is that when I got there, I had gone to dental school in Dallas, and I got there, and it's like a whole different world. Everybody is like super fit, super healthy. And the first day I was there, I had this two little assistants that were kind of given to me. And they said, I think it was a Friday. They said, "Excuse me, Doc, would you like to go on a hike with us tomorrow?" And I went, "I've never been on a hike in my life. It's a four-letter word." I had a lot of four-letter words that have changed since that because I went, well, I don't think I've ever been on a hike. How far is it?" And they looked at me like, "Oh my God." I could see it. "Oh my God." I went, "Oh, it's about 2 miles." I went, "I can do 2 miles. I can, yeah, I can do 2 miles." And I said, "So how hard is the hike?" "Oh, it's one of the easier ones." I should have heard that. "It's one of the easier ones in Aspen, in the Colorado mountains." I said, "Oh, I can do that. I can do that." "Sure." So the next day, they're in hiking boots and I'm in my Keds. So I'm hiking. I went, "Holy Toledo! How much further?" Because it's kind of slow because it's a climb. It's a dirt path, but it's still a climb. We finally get up to American Lake. Oh, that was it. And they said, "Oh, it's American Lake." I said, "Oh, that sounds friendly. It's not like High Alpine Lake or it's American Lake." I can handle that. Yeah, okay. So I get up there. I'm like dying. Oh, the worst part's not there yet. The worst part is going down. It's jam, jam, jam. I lost 8 toenails. So that was one change of life, was moving to Aspen, and I got super fit and super healthy. When I left in 2004, I moved back to San Antonio. Well, San Antonio is the home of tacos, enchiladas, queso, barbecue. I mean, I didn't eat like that. I mean, no one did. And Carolyn kind of plucked out. And I got really disgusted at myself. So I just decided one day that I had to do something. So I started running 1 block and back for 1 week. Then I had 2 blocks for 1 week, 3 blocks. I'm very pedantic. I got up to where I was running 4 miles a day every day. My coach, my speaking coach, she just did her marathon. She says, "You did 4 miles?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't want to do more than 4 miles a day." And it was also San Antonio. It was 102 degrees. Oh God, you dripped weight off. So she says, "Carolyn, you did that. That's over a marathon every week." I went, "I never thought of it that way." I said, if I had have, I wouldn't have probably done that. But she said, that's 28 miles. I did it every day, and I got skinny again. And I don't want to go through that again, so I'll never get fat again because that was hard. And so I always think about people and I go, when you have to go backwards to get yourself back, it's so damn hard. Why don't you just not do it in the first place? But in our culture, especially women and everything, they everybody tends to be like I call it their tribe. And when you join a tribe of women or men or whatever, you tend to become like them. Because if you don't, you may not be accepted in the tribe. I call them sames and tribe. You got to be the same. So I have a really great story when I moved here to Lubbock, Texas, which I really don't like. I'm planning. The very first thing I got invited to was to play mahjong. So I walk into this house and I'm playing mahjong. And at the end, I'm saying goodbye and thanking everybody. And this little lady comes, she's like this high. She's got this dress that's kind of lots and lots of material, little tiny hair, real tight, all these little granny curls. I call them granny curls. And she looks up at me and I was kind of dressed like this. And she goes, "You're weird." Oh God, what am I gonna do? Oh shit. And she just sits there and she stares at me. And I realize she wasn't trying to intimidate me. I was different. And she was warning me that if you want to be like us, if you want to be with us, you're weird. Get that in your brain and you've got to change. And I thought, oh. So I sat there for a minute and she just stared at me. She was just staring at me like, and I said, "Thank you. I'm so glad you noticed." And she would, I did not get invited back. It's okay. So I watch what's happening, but I'm very disciplined now because I don't like what happens when you're not. It's a shit show, excuse my language. I mean, it's hard. So I try really hard. And actually, as you get older, it gets harder and harder. So I'm very disciplined. I don't have to go through that. And as you gain weight and you don't take care of yourself and your heart gets affected, your muscles get affected, you're going to decline faster. I'm a doctor. I know that. And every year I go to my doctors. I go once in the fall, once in the spring, and I see 5 doctors and 5 doctors. And one lady said, "What's wrong with you? Go see so many doctors." I said, "There's nothing wrong with me. That's why I go." Before something, after it hurts and you've got this big black thing on your arm, and then you go. I said, "I want to know every year if there's something." And every year my doctors say, "You're better than last year. Everything, your blood, you're better. What are you doing?" I said, "Little things consistently, it becomes easy."
What was probably your biggest habit that you need to fix when you were going through that weight loss transition?
I don't know if you want to call it a habit. I call it, I had to get my mindset together. It's just truth. If you don't have your mindset, it doesn't matter what you say. You got to get your, you don't have a habit how do I say? A habit is a result of your mindset. Did that make sense to you?
Yeah.
You have a mindset and then you can have a habit. If you start a habit, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and your mindset's not in place, you're going to fail. Guaranteed.
Yeah. So what did you have to do to kind of upgrade your mindset?
Decide, mindset, habit. It's a formula. You just decide. A lot of people can't decide. I'm lucky that I'm a good decider.
Did you have what kind of exercises did you do to upgrade your mindset?
Well, when I was younger, um, I was super active in Aspen, did everything. Then when I moved to Texas, I ran 4 miles. And then I found out I had to have hip surgery because I was in super pain. And my hip surgeon said, "Are you a runner?" I said, he says, "We are millionaires because of jogging and running marathons. They don't tell you that, but you cannot do 25, 24 miles on hard pavement and not kill your hips. And if you're practicing and doing that like once a week for a year," he says, "the people they saw that you first saw doing the long distance were the in Nairobi or the people in Africa, and they were on sand and they would go 26 and 27 miles. They're tall, skinny, long-legged, barefoot, and they were sand, not asphalt. You destroy your hips." So after the hip surgery, which was not bad actually, I had a great surgery. I was not in pain. I was more afraid of going into the surgery than after. I went, oh, he says, "I promise you, when you wake up, you will not have any pain." I said, "Bullshit." He was right. I had no pain. So I realized you have to. It's you just have to figure out what you're going to do. So I gave up. I gave up running, and so now I do things that are very. I think they're very good for you, and people don't give them enough credit. I do ballet poses. I do stretches with bands. I do some Aikido, some Japanese things. I remember the time I was in Hong Kong, and early in the morning, I was jogging then. I went up and I saw all these people on a plateau. I saw them all kind of like doing dance things. I went, huh. So I ran up the trail, and there must have been 200 people. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a beautiful morning in summer. And they all had these white tunics. Some people didn't because they were going to work. And they were all exactly in flow. It was like a dance. And they knew the dance. And I was watching them. There was nobody talking. They knew the dance. And I thought it was spectacularly beautiful. Oh, wow. And most of the people were old, really old. Some of the people were newer, but most of the people were really old. And I thought, and then someone said, "Yeah, a lot of these people are 100 years old, and they do Tai Chi every single morning. It's like almost like a ballet, but they're stretching and doing movement. And so if you stretch and you do movement, you keep everything going. You don't have to do pound, 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 pound." So I've sort of integrated a lot of things. I do my biggie is I do the plank. Where you get on your toes and you stretch out and you put your hands on the, and then you do like push-ups with your toe, stretched out. It's called the plank. One of the hardest things I've ever done. But now I can do 50, 50, 50. I don't
Nice.
think I'm going to do more.
What inspired you to start coaching them?
Well, I had retired from dentistry. I moved to San Antonio. I did squat for about 10 years. That's when I gained the weight. And then I had to do a lot of bad things to get it off. And then I just, I moved here because it was after COVID. My son suggested I do it. And I thought it was a great idea. It was a bad idea. And one day I just realized I don't have any friends. I don't have anything to do. I'm a super active person. I'm active in my mind. I'm active in my body. And no one here is my jujube. No one. They are like anchors in the chair. I don't eat like them. I don't live like them. I was a lone little bee this town. Little bee, just one, and looking for my hunt, looking for something, and there was nothing. And then one night, I was watching Tony Robbins when he does UPW. He does it like once or twice. Well, it's once or twice a year. It's like, and it starts at something like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it goes all the way to 11 o'clock. And I've done it like maybe 3 times in my life, and I had massive breakthroughs, huge breakthroughs, changed my life kind of breakthroughs. So I thought, what the hell? Go for it. What can you lose? You're at the bottom at the time. So I did it and I knew all the stuff. You break the, the board and everything. And at the end, he says, we have this new program called Mastermind, and we're going to train people to become coaches. What? Ooh, sounds interesting. Sounds like something that might be a big adventure. So I signed up, and my life changed. And now I'm a life coach, and it's a blast.
Amazing story. And you said yes, huh?
I said, oh yeah, I said yes.
What types of services do you provide?
Well, I'm a life mindset, a life success coach, and basically I teach women who are kind of successful in life, but they get to about 45 plus and they start feeling something. Something's becoming not right. They're kind of losing themselves. They're entering middle age, and it's scary mostly for women. Men, I don't think, go through that as much, but women really it frightens them. So I help them gather up their courage, their energy, and get them to show that they can have a magnificent second act. Oh yeah.
What's probably the biggest challenge they face, your clients?
That's a very interesting question, because as I've learned as a doctor, it's sort of the same thing with coaches. We're kind of the same thing. I mean, when you have a client or a patient who wants something, but you can feel it that they're not in it 100%, the end is not going to be good. They're going to always be unhappy no matter how good the product is. They didn't want it in the first place. But then they broke the tooth or something. Even though they broke the tooth, they didn't want it in the first place. And it became, they get angry that they had to get this fixed. And then they reflect that on you. It's you. Boy, did I learn that quickly. So one of the things I do when I coach is, the first thing is I have a little, maybe a 30-minute conversation. I call it a conversation. And I just let them talk, and I let them tell me what they're going to tell me. Normally, they will not tell me what the real thing is. They'll flirt with it, but they will dance around everything. They don't want to go to the pain or the problem. They want to dance around and see what, and usually I just shut up, because if I say something, I rescue them. I wait until they get really tired of dancing. And then I go, well, that's fascinating. And I really enjoyed talking to you. And I go, well, don't we have any more time? Well, it's been 46, 7 minutes. I said, we had a 45 minutes. So I think it's time for, us just kind of close our conversation. They panic. If you just shut up. As soon as you say that, don't say another thing. Because I've danced with her. She let me dance, but I didn't get what I needed. Well, that's not my fault. They didn't tell me. It's a secret. So I just shut up and I sit there and I go, is there something wrong? Is there something more you want to tell me? Because I really thought we were through with the conversation. I kind of give them a little invitation, but not a big invitation. That's when you hear it. And then they kind of get upset, or they cry, or they blurb it out, because now it's in a hurry. They spend a whole 45 minutes messing around with me. And then, because they're afraid I'm going to cut it off again. So they go, and they go, well, now we're talking. Do you want to go any further about that? We can go another 10 minutes. Give them a little gift. Boy, then they go in. And I said, wow, that's incredible. Is there any way I can help you? And I let them tell me. I don't tell them. I let them tell me, because when they tell you, they're in it. So that's a little, I just let them tell me. And I said, well, I guess. I said, you guess. I would like to talk to you. I said, well, if you want to talk to me, like, I do offer sessions. Would that feel like a good thing for you to do? Would that help you? Yes. And then they jump. It's amazing. It happens every damn time. It's just, people the same, people are patterns, right?
Yeah. With habits and like your mindset, it's like everything, they fall into the same patterns, and you got to find people's patterns to help them eliminate.
Yeah. And they don't
that
want to
stuff.
They don't want to admit they have a problem. They're really worried. They worry about this thing and you're here and you can help, and they just can't get it out. It's like, I don't want to face it like real. I just want to, maybe she'll save me and guess. I'm not, saving is not a good thing, because it's a one-way street, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I found out that if you're not willing to, like the name of my show, Through the Fire, if you're not willing to go through the fire to get what you want, and go through your fears, hurts, all that, the pain, you're not going to get to what you want.
And I know that. And so what I learned this in dentistry, is that when they're not happy and they didn't want to come in the first place and they had to do it, they almost make it your fault, even though it's their tooth that broke. I didn't break their tooth, but it's your fault. And then they will badmouth it. They will badmouth you. They'll badmouth the experience. They're not really good clients. So I've learned that if they're not in it and you have to convince them, I don't want it because, and there'll be, the other thing, a lot of people will, especially women, will go, she's so cool. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. They're in it for the wrong reason. They just want to talk to me because I'm cool or something. And when I realize that they're in it for the wrong reason, they're never going to tell me their secrets. They're never going to tell me the real. And then when they leave, they go, well, she wasn't that good. I really didn't get anything out of it. Biggie, the biggie. All the red flag. I had to do that as a dentist so I can sort of figure it out. And they had to have something done, but these people don't really, they're not dying. They don't have a limb missing. They just want something that you have. But if they're not going to help you, and they're not going to, they're just think it's going to be interesting. I listen for the words, interesting. Oh, this is cool, or interesting. That's not my niche.
Can you explain your 6-pillar program?
I don't have a 6-pillar program. I hate the word pillar. Everybody uses it, Tony Robbins. I go, why does everyone use the word pillar? It's just overdone. I basically have 3 points, and it's mindset, beliefs, and I call it your identity. You actually can say, you can use another word that, but I call it your identity. So when the body listens to 3 conversations that you're having all day long. The first conversation your body is listening to is your mindset. The second conversation your body is listening to is your beliefs. And the third conversation your body's listening to are the stories you tell yourself every single day, and you put it into your body. You give body stories like, I'm this, I'm that, I can't do this, I could. Part of mindset's one thing, and it's a much deeper thing with the identity is how you identify yourself. You call yourself names. You label yourself. That's identity.
Yeah, and I've learned too that like to upgrade all that and like to overcome all your limiting beliefs, it's about how you talk to yourself with your stories.
Yeah, that's like the third one. That's the one where you
Yeah.
put it into your brain because you create the stories that you put into your third conversation. So I had a little story I told today about beliefs, and I said, oh I didn't realize that. I said, yeah, this lady friend of mine, and she has such a strong, cool personality, but that was her belief. That's who she was. She's going to be 100 years old in about 2 weeks, and she's one of my best friends, and she believes that she can do this and she can do that, and she's funny as hell. I laugh like crazy with her. She's got the best attitude, but she has beliefs about who she is, and she's a freaking stitch. My oldest, I call it my oldest bestie. I had to do that because my best friends were in the audience and she'd be ticked off. So my oldest bestie, she's 100 years old. Keep it close to stay with my other friend.
So how would you recommend for the audience if they were how to reprogram their limiting beliefs through the stories they tell themselves?
Unless you're very unusual. You know exactly what I'm saying. If you're very unusual and you're very disciplined yourself, and you've in the past been able to discipline, you know what that means, you know how to do it, you've done it before, then you just take this project on and you do the same thing you did with the other project. If you've never done that, you need someone to help you. It's you have to have someone who can guide you and keep you on track and make you you have to have your deliverables.
You wrote 10 Secrets to De-Stressing the Holidays. What led you to write it?
Because I had to.
Why did you have to?
I was in Mastermind and I had to create a PDF. You really did your homework. Damn. That was a half ago. And we had to learn how to do PDF. And none of us were ever in, none of us were very good at tech or Canva. So some of the things we had to learn how to start doing, like a webinar and Canva and create a PDF. So I did 10 rules, and that was my project. And I don't go there anymore because each person is so different. And when you give them a sheet with 10, they'll look at it. It can overwhelm them because it's 10. And it's not maybe their thing that they want to change. And they'll get overwhelmed because, oh, you got to do this. And they think they have to do it all. And they have to go look at all. And they have to research all. And they have to, when I coach, I want to know what's the first one thing we got to do. If we get that win, then the next one's a little easier. You can't bombard someone with 10 wins. But at the time, that's what they taught us. I kind of threw it away when I went, really?
So what was probably the biggest challenge you faced while you were coming up with those 10 things and putting it all together?
10 things. 10 things. I had to kind of 10 things. And you know what your things are, and maybe you know what your friends' things are, but I was a beginning coach. So I had to kind of think about it a lot, and I had to ask some people, what are your things and what are your things? I mean, I've never asked that of anyone before. I'm a beginning coach, right? So, and I kind of had my own little ring of things, and then everybody has the same. They have their little things. So I had to do some deep diving into people and asking them, "What are your things? What are your things?" And I learned about other things that I never thought about because I never had to deal with them. I just didn't. So as you start, you don't have all the information you need. You have your information, right? But you don't know all the information because you're not everybody. So you have to spend some time kind of delving into other people's psyche, and we mostly the students, we used each other, and the coaches actually helped you too, ask questions and ask things, and you kind of, oh, I never thought about that. Huh, interesting, pretty cool.
Hmm. So am I right? Did I see that you're writing a new book right now?
It's in publishing right now. It's called The Body Listens.
Nice. So what brought about this project?
To be honest, authority. When you're a new coach and you just get up there and you're looking for clients or anything, the first thing you can do is you have a book, and it has everything I teach. It's like 19 chapters, and it has little. I didn't have a workbook. I just have in the book and chapters. You have things you can write because you don't have to have two separate things. And so you write and you discover yourself, and I give them cues and little mindset helps and little exercises. But it gives them how I think, what my process is, how I came to that, what my background is, medicine, being a doctor, dealing with psychology of my patients every damn day. It's like you gotta be a mind reader sometimes. People when they go to the doctor, have you ever noticed that a lot of patients will come to see the doctor? Maybe you've done this. I don't know. They'll come to see you, and you'll sit there, and you're late, and they're upset, and they'll talk. I said, "And what brings you in today?" And I can tell immediately they were doing a little circle. They're circling the wagons. They're telling stories. They tell about this, and they said, "Well, I really can't tell what the problem is. So, are you having any pain? Are you having any symptomology? No. Why would you come in if you would say no to that?" I know right there. And I said, "Well, I think that why don't we give you why don't we make you another appointment like in 3 months? And if anything comes up, you just call me right away." That terrifies them because they're not going to get the answer, but they didn't give me the information. Immediately, no, doc, no. Okay, I didn't tell you about this. Okay, here we go. Now they're going to go and they're going to tell you the truth. And you wonder why I'm late for the next patient. This happens every room I walk into. It's a pattern. Of course I'm late. But they wait till I'm about to walk out to tell me the truth. And I come back. It's not one, it's all the time. So basically clients are like that too.
Yeah. When is your book going to be published?
Oh, that's a real interesting thing. I had a publisher and it was a scam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I lost a lot of money. But a lady that was in my class is a published author of many books. And then I was introduced to her to be just in the kind of, and her friend introduced me. She says, I'd like you to be in you're so interested. I'd like you to be in our little book group. We publish books. I've never published anything. I said, yeah, but you're really interesting. So you're publishing books. So you come on in. So I got invited. And so they said, what is going on? I said, well, I've been working on this for about 6 months. And where are you? Well, sometimes they don't call me back for 3 weeks. And they send me back the first copy I gave them, which was 6 months ago, when I just gave them a new one. They give me back the old one. It's like a circus. And this lady said, oh my God, who are you working with? She said, before you answer that, I want you to take out your statement from your credit card and tell me what's on the statement. I said, AMHIH. She goes, hold it. I'll be right back to you. So I'm gonna do a little research. So she called Amazon. No, she got on Amazon. And there was a banner, and it said, do not do anything with that is a fake Amazon. They're not connected with it at all. If you happen to click on the wrong link, oh my God. So this lady said, this is what you do. You call Visa right now. Go on your statement, look at all the things that you've done, highlight them, call Visa, call the fraud department. There's a special number on the site. I was shaking. So I called, and the first person I got was like, she's, what happened? I said, this happened and this happened, and a lady friend checked, and who's in the business, and she checked. She said, my statement says AMH, and that is fraud. I didn't know that. So she said, let me give you to one of our people that really changed. So they immediately switched me, and the lady came back on, and she says, I heard what it is. She says, that is fraud. We will take care of you. So they immediately gave my money back, and from Visa, they gave my money back, and now they're in the process of getting the money back from them. But they gave me, and then a great story about Visa.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, they said, this is fraud. We saw the banner. How did you get on that? I said, I don't know. I'm a little child in the woods. I don't know.
How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. My email is zgmiele92@gmail. And my website is www.the, all little letters, the/foreveryoung, theforeveryoung.com/home, with a dash between the and the forever, theforeveryoung.com/home. And that's me.
Nice. And I'll put that in the show notes for everyone too. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
I've been doing all the talking. Ask me some more questions. You want to talk things? I'm all ears. You have
all right.
to have it.
All right, final question.
Okay.
What is one piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with about overcoming adversity?
Get help. It's really hard. Unless you're a very strong person, you will spend hours, days, time, anxiety, depression. It's just a hole. The faster you can get help, the better you can get faster you can get help. Healthier and happier, and move on. I don't understand why people go on and suffer. It just is not, you don't have to.
Great advice. Carolyn, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing your story and insight with all of us.
You are a blast. Can I refer people to you?
What's that?
Can I refer people to you?
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you why. Right
Hey,
now,
we'll talk right here after when we get off here. Okay?
yes.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to be all the time we have here today. Remember, the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.